Should the use of instrumental music in Christian worship be a barrier to fellowship? Should the use of instrumental music in Christian worship be a barrier to fellowship? Let me begin by stating what I believe to be a fundamental premise that I hold as a matter of conviction. I believe that there can be no fellowship as the New Testament understands the term, unless all the fellas are in the same ship. There can be no fellowship unless we are sons in the same family, unless we are citizens of the same country, unless we are stones in the same building, unless we are soldiers in the same army, priests in the same temple, subjects of the same kingdom, and members of the same church. 2 Corinthians 6:14, familiar passage of scripture, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion hath light with darkness? This passage, so often I think misused in connection with marriage, is really a passage dealing with the integrity of Christian worship. The rhetorical questions asked in the text shows, at least in my mind, there are some things that makes fellowship impossible. Now I realize in the text that Paul is calling on carnal Corinthians to make a clean break from pagan worship. I believe, however, that an important principle and premise is being introduced. That being that it is possible that for there to be some things, even in the way that we worship, that can make fellowship impossible. All right. Now the question my subject poses is the use of mechanical instrument in worship one of those things that makes fellowship impossible? I believe that the answer to that question is yes. I believe that the use of instrumental music in worship is a barrier to Christian fellowship. Now let me spend the next few moments telling you why I believe what I believe. The reason for this conviction is embodied in two notions. And these notions will serve as the hinges on which my thoughts will swing. I want to first have a consideration of the thought historically. And then I want to have an examination of the text theologically. This paper will be yours. First of all, I want to have a consideration of the thought historically.